guys? Lawrence here. I just wanted to throw together a quick video to show you some of the features of the bench that I recently put together. It's a combination of bench parts from plans from a Pop Wood set of videos. One, Build a Joiner's Workbench by Alan Turner, and the other one, Build a Sturdy Workbench in 2 Days by Chris Schwarz. Really, Alan Turner's video was the motivation for me to get the Veritas quick release face vise and tail vise. And Chris Schwarz's video was the sort of the motivation for me. It motivated me to create the base this way. So let's start with that base. It's made from Douglas fir 4x4s, which have been dressed down. And then when you build it together, these end pieces, these U shapes here, are all lag bolted and screwed together on both ends. So they can be knocked down. The stretchers in between, which hold everything from racking, are actually held in place by lag bolts and nuts. So it makes for a knockdown piece of woodworking furniture, which is really sturdy. It's not going anywhere. The base itself weighs about 180 pounds or so, maybe a little bit less now that I've planed it down, but it's not going anywhere. One of the features I really like about it is all the faces of the vise and the legs are all in one plane with each other. So you can use the face vise, the tail vise, and once I get some dogs built on this side over here, you can hold pieces of wood on that same plane and clamp them to both the stretcher or to the legs, which are all in the same plane. It's just a feature that I really like, and it was easy to put together. As far as the vises themselves, I fell in love with these vises as soon as I saw them on the video. The Veritas tail vise, it's quick release. It opens up really fast, for me faster than I could maybe say do a bench crafted wagon vise. I like that, unlike a wagon vise, I've got an open front here, and I went ahead and put a piece of leather on the front of this tail vise so I can clamp wood in an orientation like this and then work on the ends if I'd like. In addition, I can use the dogs with the bench top itself to hold boards and a flat orientation to go ahead and work on the faces of them. For the dogs themselves, what I did was I made these pop-up bench dogs. I have regular bench dogs as well, but especially for these places where I have a deep chop, I went ahead and created a blind dog hole. In other words, there's no hole in the bottom. And I made these bench dogs. And then on the inside of it, what you have are these little cabinet closers. They're magnetic on the top, so you can pull them out just with anything metallic. But they open and close with a click, basically, and a spring. So your dog can be in the up position, and then you press it, and then it's in the down position. And I made one for the tail vise and a couple for the face vise over here. So again, you've got your pop-up dogs, and then I made standard dogs to go into the dog holes here. So really, basically, that's this bench. I'm looking forward to using it. I'm taking this spot in my shop, which did hold a sliding door at one time in this old granary, and underneath the header that's already in place for the door is pretty rotted out on the other side, so it's been covered with OSB, and I'm putting a window in there. So I have some nice natural light coming in right over my workbench going. And I'm looking forward to using this tool basically as my primary hand tool holding surface. I already have some assembly tables and some other benches that I'm using for my power tools, and I really want to dedicate this one to my hand tool holding, which is one of the reasons I really sized it for that as far as the height goes on it. And thanks for looking, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. As far as cost goes, I think the bench top was about $400, which is pricey, but for what I was getting, which is a workbench top, which from what I can tell using an aluminum straight edge, it's really, really close. We're talking within sort of a 64th of an inch flat across the top, and still sort of acclimating to the surface here and the humidity in my shop. The legs, between the hardware and the Douglas fir, I have less than $75 in the actual, the bench legs themselves, and then the vice hardware. They were about $300 each for those vices. So that was definitely a splurge, but I do feel like it's worth it because it's great hardware. Anyway, thanks again for looking, and look forward to hearing any questions you have. Bye-bye.